Konene. So kuna kuagana zile stories zile zina confirmigi kitu au samaga the truth is stranger than fiction. So kulikuwa na hii headline ni cheki from NTV Kenya. And I was like, what? Then the headline ilikuwa ni blow to Sirisia MP John Waluke in bid to get 1 billion payout from NCPB. So NCPB ko jui, yoni the National Cereals and Produce Board. So umse alikuwa nafaa kupata 1 billion. So kama ujui juu John Waluke. John Waluke ni the Sirisia Member of Parliament na alikuwa found guilty of fraud and illegal acquisition of public funds in a maize scandal involving NCPB. He, along with his business associate Grace Wahungu, were directors of a company called Erad Supplies and General Contractors Limited. Alafu kwa hii story yao ilikuwa ni the charges stemmed from a claim made to the NCPB which was based on a forged invoice. The invoice was for the storage of 40,000 metric tons of white maize, a service that was never rendered. The fraudulent claim resulted in the illegal acquisition of over 300 million shillings from NCPB. In 2020, nakumbukaga hii siku, because this sentence will happen jioni kabisa. Waluke was sentenced to 67 years in prison with the option of a fine of over 1 billion. However, in October 2024, the Court of Appeal overturned this conviction and sentence. He was set free. The appellate court ruled that the High Court had failed to properly analyze the evidence presented. So, as I always say, the Kenya judiciary is a joke. It's a big joke. Because 1 minute you can't find someone guilty and sentence them to 67 years. And then the next minute mnasema there was not enough evidence. And there's never enough evidence when it comes to corruption. And another thing that happened is this guy, of course, in 2022, alikuwa Azimio, but so alikuwa Azimio na alikuwa jela. Alafu akakuwa freed, akajoin Ruto, and kesi collapse eventually. So, okay. But it's one thing for you to get your freedom. It's another thing for you to then turn around. After history yote ilijulikana kitu ya fraud, hii 400 million ya NCPB, you turn around and now you want 1 billion. This 1 billion does not come from like outer space. History ya National Cereals and Produce Board, this is public money. And this person already benefited by making 300 million. But they still want more. The more them get it, and the more them want it. Najua ile? Give them an inch, they take a yard. Okay, so ikakuwa nini? So by the time hii sasa history na react, nilikuwa nasoma, ilikuwa ni today, November 20th. This was November 10th, that is in Monday, November 10th. The Court of Appeal dealt a significant blow to Sirisia MP John Waluke in his bid to receive a substantial payout from the National Cereals and Produce Board. The court set aside a High Court decision that upheld an arbitration award in favor of Erad Supplies, Skiza, a company linked to Waluke. The award, initially for 3.1 million, had grown over to 1 billion by April 2025 due to interest. Remember, there was no service rendered. There was nothing. Hii kitu ilikuwa fraud. Na after hii fraud, country afu nasikia tutakuwa first world aje, that someone who stole feels like even his freedom, just getting away with the theft ya kwanza si enough, they want more. So ikaendelea. The case revolves around a 2004 contract for Erad to supply maize to the NCPB. The company claimed damages and after the NCPB failed to provide a letter of credit, and an arbitrator awarded them the funds in 2009. However, the ethics and anti-corruption presented evidence suggesting the award was obtained through fraud, including a forged invoice for maize storage from a company that denied any involvement. Then the Court of Appeal has now remitted the 21-year-old dispute to the High Court. This new hearing will specifically investigate the serious allegations of fraud and determine whether the original arbitration award was obtained through forged documents. This ruling effectively reopens the case and blocks for now the billion shilling payment to Waluke's company. Remember, this guy was in jail for stealing. Now, he's gone to the same court and he's asking for 1 billion shillings. And sijui man, najua umeamka unajidanganya hard work pays, si ndio? Okay. See, I'm even speechless, man. Like, it's not enough because umshasikiaga nikibonga jomsi, it's not enough that you got away with it. It's not enough that you're not going to serve your 67-year sentence. It's not enough that, because that judge who gave you 67 years, was he crazy? The evidence that was presented that made you get 67 years. Because kama si hivyo, you should also sue the judge and say, huyu judge alikuwa crazy. Instead of giving me a payment, they gave me a jail sentence. And I don't know, but fraud is fraud, and do it until upatikane. Na watu wanapatikana huko nje. Kuna story moja tukitoka Kenya, nilicheki ilikuwa both funny and sad. So kuna mafala wa Nigeria waliamua kuchapa fraud. Hizo masaida states kuget away na fraud waga hard kabisa, but if you are able to be fraudulent unatengeneza some very good money. So wacha tusikize hii story.
My favorite fraud that I ever defended was a group of Nigerians. You know how to make a Nigerian omelet, right? Well, first you get a credit card. Sorry, it's a joke, but it's a good joke. So these Nigerians were going to hospitals and identifying information from hospitals, and then applying en masse for tax returns with the IRS, and just making up numbers. And they got, there was like $400 million in fraudulent tax returns that they got back by just making up numbers. And the beauty of it is they received $400 million.
Stuko najua $400 million. $400 million is how much? $400 million is over 50 billion Kenyan shillings. Yes. Try to imagine 50 billion Kenyan shillings. Alafu, this story gets worse. Skiza.
And they went to a strip joint. Of course, that's where you go after you steal $400 million from the government. That's, it's. I think it's the law. I think you have to go to a strip joint after you make that kind of money. And brought one, Sheba, Angel, Detsy, Bambi, whatever the lovely young entertainer was, back to the motel, and got in a fight with the stripper about how much she was going to earn for her private dancing.
Sikia hiyo jo. So hizi raya ziko na $400 million zimetoka kuiba, alafu zinakosana stripper juu ya payment. Niko sure hata ka stripper alikuwa expensive, hangekuwa more than $10,000. And with that, it's crazy. I'm thinking crazy. That has to be crazy. But I'm sure it's not $10,000. Don't forget, hizi raya zimetoka kupata $400 million. Let's put that in context. If you have 400 million shillings, na mtu anakudai 10,000 shillings, would you risk the 400 million shillings? Okay, tuendele.
And the laws got called because the Nigerian and Sheba got in a fight, and they came in and they saw all the computers, and here we go. So they lost it all, ended up doing 15, 20 years because they got in a fight with a stripper. What a country.
Damn, sikia hiyo ja. Hizi raya ziliba 400 million dollars. Alafu zikaenda kwa club kutafuta na stripper. Alafu ile story ya zimegrow up zikijua ufai kurespect madem, especially ka dem ni stripper, unzamtreat kama shit juu ni kuro. Wewe tuende umeenda kumchukua. Juu ni kuro. Hawezi hata saizi vile mi reasoning yangu aga hivi. Sijai buy kuro, na stai buy kuro. That's something that I can say comfortably. Kawe ni kuro na shai kununua, inua mkono, uambia wananchi. Never done that. But if I was to buy kuro, siwezi then disrespect makuro. Because I bought. So tukizana bei, italipa. Siwezi mafala. Zileta stripper wakakosana. Polisi wakakuja. Kapata computers. Zika lose 400 million. Na zika lose pia freedom. At least lose the 400 million without losing your freedom. That would make sense. Now ume lose 400 million. Now ume lose freedom pia. Pumbavu kabisa. But but hizi fraud zinaendelea kuhappen. Like there's another fraud pia nilicheki. Hii I think nilicheki na happen maside za Minnesota, and nilienda tu nimeshare. Hii ilikuwa very sad because it's just one of those situations whereby you think about how we get these opportunities in these countries where unafika hapo, they embrace you, and they give you a chance, and what do you decide to do? You decide to steal from them. So wacha tusikize hii.
In December of 2021, the FBI installed a surveillance camera overlooking this building just off Lake Street in Minneapolis. At the time, it was Safari Restaurant, which overall took in $12 million in federal child meal payments through Feeding Our Future. Safari's former co-owner, Salim Saeed, is on trial alongside Amy Bach, the Feeding Our Future executive director. Safari claimed to feed 4,000 to 6,000 kids a day. Its invoices and meal counts shown to the jury alongside the video. An FBI agent testifying that an average of 40 people came and went during the 6 weeks it was surveilled.
Masikio, hase walikuwa nafaa kufeed ni 6,000 children every single day, but in that 6 weeks nasemekana an average of 40 people, so I get ni 40 people per day walikuwa nakuja, and they made $12 million. If you don't know how much $12 million is, we're talking about 1.5 billion Kenyan shillings. And yeah, tuendelee.
The FBI set up a total of 12 cameras at sites claiming to serve extraordinary numbers of meals. Another was at a deli in St. Paul, also registered by defendant Salim Saeed, which claimed 1,800 meals per day. The video, shown to the jury, showed an average of 23 people a day coming and going. The jury was shown dozens of invoices, meal counts, and emails seized from Feeding Our Future's headquarters in St. Anthony. Some showed links to websites that randomly generated names and ages to create rosters of children who were served meals. Many were signed or sent by Amy Bach, who's charged with wire fraud, along with bribery for the alleged kickbacks that she received.
So kitu moja itaenda kuhappen juu hii kesi ni umse, of course anaenda kufind out very soon that yeye ni Msomali, so yeye atapata maximum sentence. Udem Jenny White niko sure atapatiwa lighter sentence na yeye ndiye atatestify, yani jena kwa ni third state witness. Sitakuwa surprise if that happens, but okay, acha tuendelee. But hiki tunashindwa nayo jo, na kawe ni Mkenya na uko majuu, especially states jo, useme na kufundisha vile kudu life yako, but buda jo huko kugeta away na fraud. Hizi tabia za Kenya tuziache Kenya. Get away na fraud ni ngumu jo, utapatikana. So take, alafu mkipatikana unaharibia kila mtu mwingine. But of course I think someone like this is that selfish. Na check, because I remember even vile niona hii post nilichekiwa saki andika zile za now the mayor is Somali, because Wasomali wamekuwa wakipatikana na hizo fraudulent cases. Kulikuwa na ule mwingine unakumbuka alikuwa na Bai Makeja hapa South Sea. So yeah, but sikiza hizo pesa jo 1.5 billion. Would you risk it for that? Because pia mimi nafikiria jo, would I risk it for that? Sasa shida ni hiyo, utapelekwa jela wapi? Because tena kwenda kudinywa haga jo kwa jela jo staki jo. Iko nana, acha tuendelee.
Her defense attorney tried to raise doubt when it cross-examined the FBI agent that they didn't see the back entrance where it's possible meals left packed in trucks for delivery. He pushed back, insisting they'd still see congestion. To that volume, he said, I would say it would not make any sense.
That case became one of the biggest COVID-era frauds in America. And the kicker, Minnesota's own Department of Education had red flags. Massive spikes in reimbursement requests and
So, okay. But this is just another example of vile hatunaga values. And kunaga values too. Tunakuaga the sort of people that if we get any chance to go fraudulent, we become fraudulent. But the difference is with Kenya, it's easy to get away with it. That's why mechiki mseiko fraudulent hapa. Anabonga jia mseiko fraudulent ana ameiba NCPB. Alafu after the NCPB they still want more. Ajua, they still want to steal after getting away with not going to jail. In the first world country it's different. You're going to jail. Lemsawa South Sea alipatiwa 28 years. So yeah, anaenda kutandika 28 years in jail. So is it worth it? Because the minute you don't have freedom you become an animal. So is it worth being an animal? So yeah, hao wengine waliiba $12 million. And yeah, tabia za Kenya jo, kupeleka tabia za Kenya majuu come with consequences. But back to hapa Kenya, I'd want to see what's going to happen with this NCPB case. And I think at some point I don't know, but if I sit with one of these lawyers, I need to ask them, is there a way to sue the office of the Director of Public Prosecutions? Because now this is becoming a joke. It's becoming a joke where people not only steal from the taxpayer, they steal and they come up with another fraudulent claim and steal even more. Because umse akipatikana that there is no money that he's owed, he needs to go to jail for now trying to steal again. Nacheki, but it is what it is. Vile msemaga jo, enda baki umetafuta pesa. Why? There's someone in the government who's waiting to steal that money. Na changamka haraka. Ekonene. Nimeinterrupt show kukuremind you Lemfi. Kama uko US ama Canada na unataka kutuma do Kenya, register kwa Lemfi ukitumia promo code Ekonene. Hii itakuguarantee $20 cashback on your first $100 transaction. Alafu pia time una register, make sure umetick the 2 checkboxes za notifications ndio ukireceive info about amazing offers through newsletters. Na pia usijali, Lemfi hawatumagi hizi letters za, yani unajua like ma messages za kipumba. Pia usisahau, every time una transact $50 and above una earn points. Na the more una transact, the more points you earn and you can redeem them as cash ile time unatuma pesa. Alafu pia kitu nanibamba kabisa ni saizi ukitumia Lemfi unabaki umelipa pay bills na till numbers directly. That means unabaki umehandle bills za maparo wako ukiwa hizo maside za States ama maside za Canada. Alafu pia we mwenyewe as a Lemfi user baki umetafuta ile button imeandikwa get USD $20, ubaki umeinvite mabeste zako, na ukiinvite mabeste zako on their first $100 transaction unapata pesa ngapi? $20 cashback. So unangoja nini? Baki umechangamka, ingia Lemfi. Lemfi, international payments for everyone. Ekonene.